Yo, what's good, yo? I'm JB Hoops, and today I got my Ousmane Dieng breakdown video, a guy who's been shooting up draft boards. He started off the NBL season pretty terribly, but over the second half of the season he's picked it up. He's an 18-year-old 6'10 wing with tons of potential, great playmaking instincts, and I think he has a very good shot at going top 20 in this year's draft. So I'm going to start off with his stats. Because he did start off the season so terribly, I'm not going to really count that, because for the first 10 or 11 games, he just lacked confidence, he looked unready for the physicality and intensity of the league, and he just really struggled. But over the final 12 games of the NBL season, he averaged 13.3 points and 4.1 rebounds, shooting 44% from the field and a very solid 35% from deep, also putting up 1.1 steals and 0.4 blocks on the defensive side of the ball. All this in just over 23 minutes a game, and whilst his assist numbers were around 1 per game, the assists are counted differently in the NBL, and he's definitely a better playmaker than the numbers show. So the first thing I want to talk about in this video is his shot creation ability and potential. At 6'10", 216, Ousmane Dieng is one of the most unique prospects in this draft. He has a really solid handle for a guy his size, he can score out of ISOs, and he's excellent at creating separation to get his shot off with a variety of moves. He's got step backs in his bag as well as crosses between the legs. He loves his double between the legs with a little hezzy before bursting off right to attack the basket. And I just think in terms of his height, smoothness, fluidity, and space creation ability, he is going to be one of the most deadly shot creators in this class. Next up, I'm going to talk about his shooting in general. I think his jump shot does need a little bit of work. The release is smooth, he gets it off quick, and his release point is pretty high. But his base is a little bit awkward, his knees kind of cave in and his feet aren't squared to the basket, and overall it's just not the most effective jump shot because a lot of his misses are pretty bad misses, and I also think he doesn't really generate much power from his lower body on his pull-ups, and that's why a lot of his shots fall short. This is definitely a little bit concerning, but over the second half of the season he shot 35% from deep. And as he gained confidence, his shot started to look a little better. So I think coming into the league, it'll take a little bit of time before he gets his jump shot down. But I think for Ousmane Dieng, the majority of his issues on the offensive end, as well as defensive end, stem from his lack of confidence in his ability. And I'll talk about that a little more later in the video. Ousmane Dieng's playmaking ability is what I think separates him from a lot of other taller shot creators. He's a great pick and roll ball handler, he's really composed and just has great feel, and he's pretty good at utilising his size and length to get passes over the defense, and he has a vision to find the roll man, cutters, as well as shooters. He's very unselfish and he's great at manipulating the defense. He uses a lot of head fakes and quick moves to find a teammate or create an opening to get a shot off. But he's also a great cross-court passer off one hand. He whips passes to the opposite corner, but he's also pretty good at driving and kicking to the strong side. The concerns I have with his playmaking ability and passing ability is he can be a bit indecisive at times. Over the NBL season, he got called for quite a few travels. He's hesitant to take open shots and just gets stuck in two minds with his decision making, which obviously leads to some stupid turnovers. Now I think Ousmane Dieng's defense is his most intriguing aspect of his game, because there are so many flashes of excellence on that end, but also a lot of big question marks. I think he's a solid one-on-one defender, he's a good athlete with great size and length. He moves pretty well laterally, he can pick off passes and block shots, has the versatility and IQ to defend multiple positions, and I also believe in him as a weak side rim protector, because he has such good length and shot blocking instincts. He's able to contest and block shots without fouling. He's also adept at plucking ball handlers and just getting a hand in to disrupt their drives when defending the corner. But with all those positives comes a fair few negatives. He is a pretty terrible rebounder. He ball watches on the glass, struggles to box out the bigger guys, and he just doesn't really have that vertical athleticism to leap up and secure boards. He also struggled a lot with the physicality of the NBL. He got bullied a lot and outplayed, and there were so many occasions where he was just forced to foul. He also seems to, for the most part, shy away from physicality and not want to take any risks and even compete with the physicality. In a few games that I've watched, he just doesn't even try to help, rotate, or gamble for a steal or block. And I think it's a confidence thing with him not wanting to pick up fouls or give his man an open bucket. But in the NBA, he'll need to get better at that. And it'll definitely be a concern for teams drafting early in the first round. However, in saying that, I personally don't think it'll be a long-term issue. I think once he gets to an NBA team, puts on a little bit of size and muscle, and just gains that confidence in himself, I think he'll be very good defensively. I've also noticed when watching him play defense that he uses his hands a lot. At times he just gets beat by quicker guys using his forearms to push and hold them, which has led to quite a bit of foul trouble in the NBA, and it will be called even more in the NBA with a stricter whistle. And there's also just a few discipline issues I've noticed. At times he just leaves his hands down when defending on the perimeter, which you just can't do when guarding good pull-up shooters. And then another thing I've noticed a lot is him going under screens and getting punished for it. I don't know if it's just their defensive scheme and game plan, or it's just his defensive awareness, but he gets caught on all those screens as well, and he'll get punished in the league severely if he continues to do that. Now the last thing I've got to talk about for this video is his finishing ability. Ousmane Dieng is mostly a below the rim finisher, but he has soft touch on his floaters and he's great at getting it off quick and in traffic. And I think perfecting the floater would be very useful for a 6'10 guy who isn't the best finisher and struggles as a shooter. At the start of the season he didn't really cut it all and was kind of stagnant off the ball, just sitting in the corner. But throughout the season he got a lot better at recognizing cutting opportunities, and I think they'll be very useful in the NBA, especially if his jumper's not falling, because otherwise he's not really doing much offensively. But the main concern I have with his finishing is he does shy away from contact driving to the hoop. He isn't very good at finishing through bigger guys, and he just needs to be more confident and aggressive with his size and length to finish over NBA centers and bigs, because right now his finishing just won't hold up in the league at this rate. Alright, to wrap it up, Ousmane Dieng, whilst I made it sound like he's a pretty shitty prospect in this video, he has a lot to like. His shot creation ability and size, fluidity, excellent playmaking ability, and a lot of defensive potential. I think a comparison for him would be a Paul George light. I don't really like it, it's not the best comparison, but it's all I've got for now. I think a lot of the issues with this game he can fix with confidence and just putting on a little bit of muscle, which I think he'll be able to do pretty quickly in the league. And as for a draft range for Ousmane Dieng, I would think a team between 12 and pick 20 will definitely take a flyer on him, because you just don't get guys with his size, play style, and potential at only 18 years old very often. So I think despite the poor start and massive question marks with his game, he's definitely a first round talent, and I can see him going as high as the late end of the lottery. That's all I got for this one. Leave a like down below, subscribe for more. JB Hoops.